Ooh, yeah, yeah. This needs to be said all the while. We're keeping it real, yes. There's so much to be said.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today on This Needs to Be Said. And I say us because there's a crew of people that you don't see whenever I do a podcast or even the television show. Today, we're going to talk about affordable housing in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's bothering me because we're supposed to be one of the fastest growing cities, like the 17th fastest growing city in the United States. However, I don't know what they're measuring. Are they measuring how many people are coming here to enjoy being homeless? Can I say that? Because the number is going up instead of down. As I do my research, as I'm sitting at home, I want you to get a view inside my head, literally, of what I'm thinking about, because it's not necessarily my problem, but it is my problem. If we believe that we are our brothers and sisters' keepers, then why aren't we showing that? How can you go to sleep at night and you have not done anything towards eliminating homelessness for someone else? There are so many properties that are empty, so many market rate housing out here. And when I say market rate, I mean they can charge whatever the market says. So if the market says a one bedroom is $2,000, then too bad for you if you don't make 4 times that per month in order to qualify. We are living in a place where it is growing. But when I started doing my research, I see that 44% of the city is faced with some type of displacement, some type of homelessness, some type of, I don't have a space of my own, that I have to borrow from someone else in order to get something to eat. Last year, it was reported that $125 million was spent from the Charlotte Mecklenburg school system to help supplement children who are considered homeless. That bothers me. So if you send your child to public school, they are sitting in a classroom with other people who did not have a good night's sleep, who may have not gotten to school in time this morning for breakfast, who will only get lunch until the next day. And that sounds like a sad story. And yeah, you can go all day and not eat, and I just eat one meal anyway. But if you only could eat one meal a day, what would you do? How would you feel? It's a difference between having a choice and not having a choice. The soup kitchen on North Tryon is open and anybody can go. You don't have to qualify. And I believe that is the only place in Charlotte that you can go and not have to qualify. Somebody's soup kitchen. You go, you could be the mayor of the city, is the way they described it when I went to volunteer, or you could be someone who is in need. They're not going to ask you. You stand in line, and until all the food is served, everyone can get something. So no, it's not a 5-star restaurant. No, you're not going to sit down, and it may not even be something that you would prefer to eat. But if you're in a space of needing it on North Tryon, you can get lunch. But again, lunch is a long time between Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to wait for that one meal. So when I've gone to volunteer, I've seen people pack stuff up in their book bags. They're not eating all their food right now. They're eating some now, enough to hold them over because they know they have to make it through the night. And not every place has food that they're serving for the people who don't have food at night. If they don't get into the shelter, they may not get something to eat. Once in a while, I will see that there are carts out that or tables set up to feed people in need. But that's not an everyday thing. If your life was set up, your basic needs, and that means a place to sleep, food to eat, just knowing that you have a safe environment around you, if that's what you had to think about all day long, how would you focus at work? How would you keep a job? The things around Charlotte are wonderful. I'm from Charlotte, and every time I see it grow, I'm excited. I'm grateful because I don't have to move somewhere else in order to get, bridges and loops and toll booths, as if I needed that. But we have that too. But then I'm driving down Freedom Drive, and there's a panhandler at every corner. I can't give every person $1. I can't give every person all of my change because I just gave it to the last person. But what is the change going to make a difference? People say to me, Catherine, I don't give to them because maybe he's driving a Mercedes-Benz and he's in a mansion, and I don't care. Because for a person to lower their pride to ask for help, I'm not going to judge them because it could be me one day. And I think a lot of us, we say, oh, that could be me. I could walk a mile in this person's shoes, but we don't really. In our heads, I know I can go home. When I leave this studio, when I'm done talking to you on this program, I can go home, go in the air condition. I can take my grandson's pool outside and splash my feet in. I can do whatever I want when I leave here because I get to choose to. I can drive in my car, in the AC, through the heat. People are living differently than me. Now, I'm not saying we need to go and live like they live, but I'm asking us to understand and open our eyes. When we talk about affordable housing, I wonder what you think. And at the end of the show, my email address and my phone number will be provided, so you can share with me what you think. I'm going to share with you what some people have said to me when they thought of affordable housing. Affordable housing could be the projects. If you're from Charlotte, you know of Little Rock Apartments or Greer Heights or Piedmont Courts. These are cement buildings, maybe like dorms, and you have one way in and one way out of this space that may not necessarily be safe, but it's affordable. You know, it's based on income, somebody qualified. But there's only so many units. So if more people come and more people are displaced, lose a job, have a medical emergency in their family, what do? So I'm beginning to raise the questions, and I want you to spend some time with me. I have my phone, and you'll hear me as I'm researching, and I want you to look it up for yourself. Don't just take my word for it because I'm so passionate about it, and I want you just to see it my way. That's not what I want you to do. I want you to have enough questions when you're done listening to me. Even while you're listening to me, I don't want to hear what you got to say, young lady, girl, whatever you're saying to the screen. I want you to look it up for yourself. No, it doesn't matter to you right now, but I'm going to tell you what is hard. Find yourself in a space where you need to find housing for you and your children, and you have a job, and you have to keep up with the doctor's appointment, whatever it is you're supposed to do, but you don't have a place to live. I don't think that that's the time for you to find out how all of this works. I think while it's not an emergency, while it's not urgent in your life, while you are not displaced, that you figure out what resources are out there. Because what you will have happen to you if you don't have a plan and you don't have understanding of the resources around you is that life will make a choice for you. And I would much rather see you make the choice that is going to benefit you, not because you had to, but because you were equipped with enough information to know. And I promise you, I understand. I do understand. I've been displaced. I mean, I'm from Charlotte, but you lose a job. You can have a downsize in your personal economy. Whatever you were selling or whatever job you were doing is no longer needed. So something else is replacing what you were doing. And maybe you don't have the skills for that. And by the time you go get the skills for that job, it's already been filled. So it's like we have this musical chair thing going on, just enough to be not enough for everyone.
This needs to be said. All the while we're keeping it real, yes. There's so much to be said.
Why can't we have enough for everyone? Everybody doesn't want the same thing. Well, let me take that back. We all want the same thing, but not in the same way. Somebody wants a one-bedroom studio. I don't. Somebody wants a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, ranch-style home. But everybody doesn't want the same thing. And you know, some of the people that I have met in the homeless community, they have said to me that they like being outdoors. I had an uncle, he's passed away now, and it's okay for me to tell his story. He had been in prison all of my life. So by the time I'm an adult, I have children, he's finally out of prison. He's released back here to Charlotte where he has family. And everyone was like, you know, come stay with us. And he said, no, I've been locked up all of my life. Leave me out here. He just wanted to walk free. He didn't bother anybody. And I can't promise that every person that wanders the street doesn't bother anybody, but in this story of my uncle, he didn't bother anyone. He just wanted to be free because that's what he hadn't had all of his life since he was a teenager. He had been in jail. So this has been up until he maybe was 60. So he wanted the freedom. He said, if you see me, say hey to me. Give me a couple of dollars, but don't try to imprison me again. He wanted that freedom. So in my mind, do we have an option for people who do want to live outside? If I wanted to live outside, I could. I can put together the money, get me a tent, and find a campground. But for the people who are displaced, this is a way for them to be housed. They have to take their things with them because if they leave them, they won't be back for them. They may be gone if they come back, and sometimes they're wandering from one location in the city to another location in the city because there are resources. This place will give you a bus pass. This place will give you a meal card. This place will feed you. This place will let you get mail there. And it's not all in one place, and it's not convenient. Why is it so difficult for a person to have their basic needs stripped from them, and it's like they have to fight for every single thing? Is that a requirement? Do we have to fight for everything? I get it. If you give somebody too much, they just may not want to do anything for themselves. But think about this. If they don't have everything they need, they're so mentally tired, they don't want to do anything. So I would rather help a person, and they can have a space of their own. They have the things that they believe that are good for them, that are going to make their lives great, and they're not going to bother my stuff. If a person isn't in need, they're not going to jack your car. They're not going to rob you. They're not going to take anything from you because they have what they want. If they want to play their music loud and you don't like that, so what? That's their right. And by 11 o'clock, they should have it turned down, you know? Sometimes we're complaining about things that don't really matter. When you see someone on the street with their children, listen, first of all, I want to say kudos to the people who can get their kids to behave, and you're out here begging for money or begging for some kind of help. I can't get my kids to listen. They can't. My 3-year-old grandson, he'll ask you his question repeatedly. Can I go, Grandma? Can I go, Grandma? Can I go, Grandma? No, DJ, go back in there. He's not going to stop until he gets what he wants. I couldn't get him to be on the side of the road with me, and I'm begging for money and asking for help because he said, Grandma, all we have to do is go back home if we were running a scam. So for these people who have their children out, I don't think it's an act. Or either you have some very strong parenting skills I need to know about because you are able to get your children to keep their face solemn and go along with the story. Or do they really know y'all need help? We judge so much. I watch people on the highway. They get over because when you're getting off, right there on the left lane is someone with a sign to please help me. But if you get in the far right lane, you can pretend you don't see them. I saw a lady the other day, a guy walked right up to her window, and she kept her face straight. She did not. If you don't want to give, just say, no, I don't have anything. If you didn't budget to give to a panhandler today or this week, it's not in your budget, you don't have it. But be kind. You can be kind to people that you're not going to give something to. It's okay. You don't have to roll your window down. You just say, no, I don't have anything. It's a very simple thing. When that guy walked off, she followed him with her eyes. So she knew he was there. And you're following to see where he goes because your eyes are judging. I hope I remember, and I don't really mean this, but in my heart sometimes I wish I could just be this mean and remember a person's face. So if they ever need help, I can remember their face and say, no, I'm not going to help you. Unfortunately, I'm not made up that way. I think that even the mean people need their basic needs met, and socializing is a basic need too.
This needs to be said. All the while we're keeping it real, yes. There's so much to be said.
So as we sit in our seats of judgment and we want to know, why can't this person just get a job and just get a place to stay and just get off the street and just this? Well, if you take a look at the resources that are available to people who did not choose to go to college many years ago, they have skills training at places like Goodwill. Well, they don't train you $21 worth an hour. And if you're making less than $17 an hour in Charlotte, you are not making enough money for your basic needs. So I hope you don't have family. I hope it's just you by yourself and you're renting a room. If you want a whole house that you can invite guests over and have the luxury of company and privacy, that's going to cost you some money. It's going to cost you some credit. The last person that evicted you is keeping you from getting a place to stay now. Now you have to find another crafty way to find a place to stay. Either you room with someone or, oops, maybe you have an alias. And then you get in trouble for lying because they tied your hands because you don't have the money to pay the person that you owe, but you do need a place to stay. And I do understand when you get evicted, it takes you about 3 months if you're making enough money to get back on your feet, to set things right so that you can start paying normal rent or mortgage or, getting the light bill and the water bill and the gas bill and groceries. And I hope no one grows out of their clothes, because if you have children, every week it seems they grow out of something, tear up something, they need something new. And you're judged because your child has dirty sneakers on and your sneakers are clean. Well, news to people without children, I don't play in the dirt. So my shoes are going to stay clean. However, my child plays in the dirt, and he's going to get dirty, and she's going to get dirty, and their hair is going to get twisted around, and they're going to look like no one loves them. But I want you to take a closer look. If that child has crumbs around their mouth, a dry milk mustache, they have shoes that, and you can tell if those are newer shoes and they just recently got dirty, or if they're shoes that are run over that the parents could not afford to give them anything. You know when a child has been loved, but your preference is a child should never come out looking less than. For all of these contradictions that we have, are we helping anyone? No, largely no, because 44% of our city is cost burden. 44% of our city is cost burden. I'm going to say that again as if no one heard me. 44% of your city of Charlotte is cost burden. Let me tell you what cost burden is. That means they're poor. They're too broke to be rich and too rich to be poor. If you fall in that category, one time, maybe 40 years ago, that was called middle class. Middle class now is too broke to be rich and too broke to be rich and too rich to be poor. We're those people. And yes, you got a good job, and you may think that you're living fine, and you clip coupons, and you do well, and why can't everybody do like you do? Because you didn't teach anyone. You didn't share your information with anyone. You kept it close to your chest, and you only wanted the information to help you. You don't always have to give money when you are helping someone. You go out to eat, any of these fast food restaurants, flip that receipt over or read the bottom of the receipt. Chances are they give you a buy one, get one. You buy a sandwich, you get a free sandwich if you get a drink. I'm saying this to say, you don't have to give that panhandler money. You eat at Wendy's or wherever, Burger King, McDonald's, they give away something free to eat. You've already eaten, pass the thing on, pass the receipt on to someone. Do the little survey, and you can pass the coupon out. I've done that. I do that because I can't eat it all. You know, I go so much that I have to share anyway. And this person is in need. Now, if they don't use it, that's fine. But it's their choice. If they get hungry, all they have to do is buy something to drink and get a sandwich. Maybe them and a buddy are working on the corner to panhandle, and this helps them get through. I don't know, and I don't care. I don't care if they go have a drink. If I want to have a drink, guess what I get to do? I can go to my house and I can pour me a drink. I can put it on ice. I can put strawberries in. I can do whatever I want because I have a choice. But we act as if someone in need does not need to have a choice. And that's unfortunate. We're here to raise the question about affordable housing, and I haven't even scratched the surface. You've gotten my passion. I hope that you will continue to tune in and have this conversation with me. Katherine, what is it for us to do? You stay tuned. I'm going to tell you what it is for you to do. And it's not going to cost you money, and it's not going to break your bank. It's in your budget. And I want you to understand that every time you do business isn't exactly how someone else do business. You may be able to give someone a place to live, and they're able to buy groceries for your house. You have to learn to be smarter when you're in a situation where your hands are tied. 74,000 students in Charlotte Mecklenburg school system. With the last statistics that were taken, these children come from houses that are cost burden. These are your Title I schools. These are your families that are not making enough money to get by on their basic needs. If you're not one of the 74,000, your child is a friend of one of the 74,000 children. Would you like for your child to go to school and their friend doesn't have their basic needs met? Do you not care? Socializing is important. It is. Your kids need friends. They need people to support them. They need people to encourage them. They need someone to slide them half of a sandwich discreetly, share their lunch with them. They need to learn how to be a giver, how to be someone who provides for another person out of their abundance. Teach your children generosity. I see too many parents that want to give their children the best, and only their children. When I say I want to give my children the best, I mean the community of children, the community that's going to be around my children when they are going as an adult in this world, when they're deciding what to do and how to give and who to support. They're going to need people around them that do the same thing. But if you've raised your children selfish and I raised my children generous, we're going to have a problem. And we're going to have this turnover again. And we shouldn't have that. It's not a need for us to go without. There's not a need for everyone to, it's not a need for us to let people go without. It's very important that we care so much about people that we extend ourselves to the extent that we can, and I'm going to show you some ways that you can. We need to extend ourselves to help people. You don't get all involved in somebody's situation. You don't take them home and do everything for them. No, that's not what it is. The community helps. The community supports. And if the community doesn't help and doesn't support, it is going to cave in on itself and it's going to self-destruct. So you have half of the community that's living nice because they moved here and got a nice job and they have a nice place to live. And then you have the rest of the people who can't get a job because there isn't training that's going to train them to make $21 at fast food or any considered low-skill job. I don't consider fast food low-skill because dealing with people is not a low-skill set. You have to really bite your tongue to keep your job, and you're not making enough money, and this person is complaining that you didn't do something right, as if you're the cook, you're the cashier. But my point is, every job has a purpose. If we get rid of all the fast food workers, where will we eat? Because a lot of us don't cook at home. Why don't we advocate for people to make enough money to live? Are we afraid that they're going to do better than us? They're going to buy something we didn't know to like? How selfish are we? You weren't thinking about that. You want to go home at night. You want to lay down. You want to close your door. You want to have peace and quiet. You want to not hear things if you want to. You want to pick up your smartphone. You want to watch cable TV. You want to stream whatever program you want on your television. But you have someone who's outside of your house on a rainy night, and sometimes it's really raining. It's really dangerous outside, but you're inside safe. You know, the simplest thing you could ever do is keep trash bags in your car. I learned this from the community of homeless people. I thought bringing a big old blanket because, oh, I'm at home, I could be warm. But they say, well, we can't carry that around. We have to travel light. If you bring trash bags or even those emergency blankets, they come in little napkin size, they're small packs for camping, or even when people have an accident and they bring them to the scene, they're safety, they look like aluminum foil, big sheets of aluminum foil, but they're small. Give those out. Keep them in your car. You can't give the person money, but you have an unopened bottle of water or juice. You have, something that they can carry around with them that's not going to weigh them down, that's going to help them later. A trash bag. Believe me, you don't know how valuable that is to someone who wakes up outside who has mist all over them and their things. Would you like to wake up that way? No, you don't. You wouldn't. So I want to put these things on your mind as I raise the questions about affordable housing or unaffordable housing here in Charlotte, North Carolina, Mecklenburg County, 17th fastest growing city in the United States. Until next time, because this is to be continued, keep your pen and paper out. Do some research. Challenge me. Let's help make a difference in this community.
This needs to be said. All the while we're keeping it real, yes. There's so much to be said. Ooh, yeah. This needs to be